for a long time.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It is now 7 o'clock, so I'd like to call the meeting of the Huntington Township Board of Supervisors to order. Thank you. Okay, any public comment for the agenda items? Okay, hearing none. Secretary, Treasurer's report. We will approve the December 14th minutes, the 23 minutes, Board of Supervisor minutes. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented?
I have none.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I make a motion we approve the minutes as presented.
I will second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item is approve the January 2nd, 2024 reorganization meeting minutes. Any comments on them? I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the reorganizational meeting from January 2nd of 24. Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the bill list. Any questions on that?
It looks a little odd because it's only, half a meeting, so
Right.
there is a bill list for January
Yep.
11th also, but because we had made the decision to go with the bank statements as the dates for the bill list and the financial report, it'll look odd right now while we're transitioning.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the bill list through December 31st of 23. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Acknowledge the bill list for January 1st through January 11th of 24.
It says January, I'm sorry.
Any questions on that?
Make a motion we accept the bill list
Okay.
of the first 11 days of January.
I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the financial report.
Okay, the financial report is for December 31st. We still don't have that CD interest from, that'll be paid quarterly. It never gets here till
Right.
it comes too late. Okay, in the general fund, our receipts were $27,571.61. The expenditures were $9,527. And that lets a total in the general fund of $762,111.61. In the ARP, there was interest received of $20.27. There were no expenditures. So the total in the ARP fund is $232,678.16. And in the state fund, there was 99 cents interest received. We spent $29,258, and that lets the remainder in the state fund of $5,290.91. So total in all the accounts as of December 14th was $1,011,272.81. Total as of December 31st was $1,080.68.
Okay, thank you. Any questions about that? Okay, thank you.
I have a question. What was the 25,000, you spent 20-some thousand on
The truck.
the truck. Thank you.
Okay. Next item is miscellaneous items, PSAT's calendar.
We talked last month about the calendar. We had two photos that were accepted for the calendar. This is the first one of the covered bridge. And the second one,
December.
getting there, is of Rock Chapel Church. So I want to thank the ladies who took the pictures, and I will make a motion that we purchase a calendar for each one of them in recognition of their time spent.
Okay. I second that. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Roadmasters report. Mr. King?
Out in Rolling Road, we ground up the stumps that were with the trees we had to take down. We've had them stumps ground. We did winter maintenance this past weekend, and we spent 2 days, these past 2 days, up in the upper end, running around, scraping mud off the road from the heavy rains and unclogging cross pipes.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Any questions for
Who
Roadmaster?
else will spread salt?
Well, winter maintenance.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Supervisor report? I have nothing.
I have nothing.
Okay. Gus, zoning officer report, please.
Oh, I didn't issue any permits since the last meeting.
Okay.
That's why I don't have them.
That didn't take long.
But we got a lot of other stuff. Heidner Wyatt won't be here tonight. When the county comments came in, evidently there's some problems with some of the boundary lines between Tyrone Township and us, and some of those property lines that are on their plan don't agree with what the county has.
Okay.
So those have to be resolved, and they'll be here next time. Miller's Sports, Sam Will, I'm sorry, they're appealing our decision that the judge made in our favor, and so therefore, I don't know, are we still gonna have the hearing before the magistrate?
I don't know what he will do.
Okay,
I don't know if he will hear it or if he'll say, well, wait till the appeal's finished, like he said, to wait till this appeal is finished.
yeah. All right, well, the hearing was scheduled for January 25th at 1 PM. If it's held, that's when it'll be. If we get another comment from him, we'll do whatever he wants. There was a stormwater complaint for residents at 130 Wireman's Mill Road. I asked our engineer Scott to look into it. There are several problems there. The stormwater plan for the house on South Ridge Road doesn't look like it's quite adequate to handle the water that he has. So that's gonna have to be fixed. And the property owner complained, he has a problem with water without the neighbor's water coming down. So he's gonna have to do something there. That's between those two gentlemen. We have nothing in it. But, all right, next item is the building inspector. Wilbur's gonna be working, the last word I got from him is that he'll be in there to the end of the second quarter. And he will finish any project that he has started. However, I contacted the two agencies that had expressed an interest, the Pennsylvania Municipal Code Association in Chambersburg and the outfit on Seven Valleys Road in York County. And they told me that they're not doing building inspections anymore. So we only have the one. I asked PM, whatever their acronym is, for a meeting, and they gave me 2 dates of Tuesday and Thursday of next week, and I haven't heard back from my committee yet. But it looks like we have one firm to look at. Oh, that's Alfred South Bend Code Consultants. All right, so,
Gus,
yes.
have you heard anything from Middle Department Inspection Agency, MDIA?
The only thing I ever heard
Bill?
about them is I don't want them.
Okay. I just know that they appointed him in Butler because the one person who used to work for Wilbur now works for them, and so he's.
Is that right? Well, all I've ever heard of problems, because they're based out of Harrisburg, and the contractors I've talked to and people have trouble getting their inspections done on time. Maybe it'd be different if Zerfing's working for them now. All right, but I'll check into that though.
Tom,
Yeah, I would suggest, Gus, that we check with the other townships in the county, and I'm happy to do part of that, and find another one or two to interview. It's not right we're down to one. I mean, if we end up there, that's okay, but I haven't talked to the rest of the county planning commission on others that may be willing to do this. I think we ought to do that if it's okay with you guys, because I'm not comfortable with just interviewing one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And we have to the second quarter, the end of the second quarter, correct?
Mhm.
So we have some time to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm happy to talk to the county and see what their suggestions might be. And Gus, if you want to check with other townships, let's
I
do
will
that.
do that.
Okay.
I will say though, my experience with going other townships for clients, PMCA is probably like 80% of the county, I would guess. There's a couple MBI, but
Okay.
there's not a lot of choice, unfortunately.
No, it was Wilbur had I think half the county.
Well, I'm sure.
All right, well, we'll have to keep working on that. At this time, with Mr. Scott over here is from JVI, who has purchased the property on Old Harrisburg Road. They used to be McLeaf's, and we had a good bit of activity this month. We're still waiting for a land development plan, which is in the process. They have applied for an amendment to it's a major amendment to the NPDS plan. I returned the form to your engineer as far as acknowledging that I received a copy of that notice. So the other thing that we have is I spoke to their contractor who will be remodeling the interior of the building. There's nothing structural being done. So whatever happens inside the building is, I will issue a waiver that it doesn't require a building permit. There will be a couple inspections that will be done because they're replacing the electrical panel, and it'll need inspected for accessibility for the ADA, accessibility for disabled people. They're also applying for a highway occupancy permit for their driveway. I got a call from TRG, the traffic people, who they've evidently retained as a consultant. Because you guys are gonna change the driveway, right? Access.
Well, I think on the, and good evening, everybody, Scott Barnard, JBI. I think on the township's request, we're trying to find out what PennDOT's going to want.
Sure.
So at this point, we're just gathering our information in-house. John Seitz, he's up at TRG. He's going to go ahead and contact them, try to get a scoping meeting set up, sit down, figure out what they want. We know we have 2 entrances out there. I don't know if that's going to be allowed. I don't know if the width of those entrances are going to be allowed, and then we have our daily trips that we have to take into consideration. So it's a process we're working through, but I'm hoping to have that meeting with PennDOT and get kind of direction over the next 4 weeks.
Okay.
All right. And the other item is that we need a pre-development checklist approved. And Scott, you want to address that?
The agreement, the pre-development agreement to basically let them start pushing dirt.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so their, JVI's attorney had contacted me because they're looking to begin placing fill on the property, because I guess it's coming from a project somewhere.
Yeah, most of our work is PennDOT. So when we take soils, when we take excess, when we take spools off of those jobs, we have to have a permitted site, which we do have. But in this particular case, I think it was giving the township okay with everything as far as what is going in there. I think there may have been some question about, is it clean or regulated fill? It is not regulated by any shape or form. It's all clean fill. So we're permitted. We're doing a major revision to that permit, as Gus was talking about. That comes along with the land development plan. But in this particular case, I think we asked your solicitor to pen something, which he did, that we would basically say, hey, we're going to submit this plan in so many days, which I think we had 90 days in there.
Yes.
We should beat that by a good margin. We've already done our perks, which it didn't hurt. Everybody was not shocked at that. So now that we've done our perks and we're dealing with PennDOT, those are kind of the last 2 questions that we have to produce that plan.
Okay.
Gus, and this is Roger Drake from JBI too.
Okay. Good.
I know they are talking about the building that we're going to add, which is basically going to be a shop for our vehicles. So everything's coming together. We asked for 90 days just in case something would delay, but at this point, we're ready to strip topsoil. We're actually diverting all of this soil to another job right now, but it's not the way that it should be, if you know what I mean. So we would like to start to strip and fill. Keep in mind, you're going to get a lot of bites of the apple on this one. You're going to get a land development plan. We know your ordinances. We know your buffers that you require. And I just want to go out and say, I know you didn't bring it up, but everybody doesn't like what's up there, okay? Keep in mind, up there is not down here. There's actually 4 businesses up there. There's ourselves, that we've sold that piece of land. There's AMG, which is a big landscaping company out of Maryland. Brightview, which actually is the largest landscaping company in the United States. And Energy Mat. And if you have that combination of those 4 companies and equipment and materials, coupled with that, there is a existing house, a residence up there that we inherited when we bought it. There were tenants living in that house. There were campers outside. Looked like a bomb went off. I'll sit there and tell you that. That's not going to be here. This is going to be our corporate office.
Okay.
The only thing we're going to have is just our yard.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So anyway, because they don't have a land development plan, so they can keep working, that's what this pre-development agreement is about.
Right.
It basically just says that they're gonna start doing that,
Right.
but they're doing it all kind of at their own risk, and that
Correct.
if they do it and it needs to be changed for land development, they understand that they
Right.
gotta
Right,
do
we
that.
can't come back on you if something goes wrong.
Right.
So that's the gist of it.
From an economic perspective, if I may,
Sure.
getting that fill in a hole to get it off the job at the appropriate time is significant to our cost to get that fill placed and for the placement of the new maintenance facility we're gonna have there.
Okay. Thank you. So do we need to take action on the agreement now?
Yes. The JBI already signed and sent it over, so.
Okay.
And I believe, did the planning commission have a comment on it at their meeting?
Yeah, we recommended it to the supervisors.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions or comments on that?
No.
So I'll make a motion, we sign the plan provided by...
Agreement.
The agreement, I'm sorry.
You can sign the plan if you want to.
No. Pardon me, I have a question.
Yeah, I don't know anything about construction. I'm just interested, why is topsoil removed from a site like this? Is it because of the buildings you'll be placing, or exactly what is that for?
Topsoil is not regulated for fill, for one reason.
It's organic.
Right. So basically, we strip the topsoil off of the area that we're going to fill to be placed back on top of the pile when we're done, if that makes sense.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion.
A second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Give us a little bit, and we'll keep working with your staff.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
You too. Review and approve escrow agreement. What's for Chelsea Springs? Is that,
That we don't need
Okay.
anymore. So the new contractor was going to basically give a cash escrow in lieu of a letter of credit. Then Gus contacted me today after I prepared it, and they said, well, they're going to get their letter of credit today or tomorrow, so
okay.
they didn't need
So
that.
we don't?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when they come in, you understand what they did, they dropped a check off for the 54,000, which unless we have an agreement, isn't any good. So we're still holding it.
Okay,
But when they walk in with the
right.
signed letter of credit,
Okay.
we swap them. Okay?
Thank you. Anything else, Gus?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Solicitors report?
I don't have anything additional to report. The only thing is, Gus, once you accept the new letter of credit, you can release the previous letter
The
of credit,
previous
right?
one, right.
We'll wait until the next meeting to do that, because it's not specifically listed on the agenda. But then I have nothing additional to report.
What about the trash?
I'll update, hopefully at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, engineer report. Scott?
I have the draft plans completed for Greenbrier Road, culvert replacement. I was hoping to send that to Deb today, but I'll do it first thing in the morning.
Okay.
That review for the Conservation District is required for the funding program. Myerstown Road, there's nothing new. 2 days ago, I visited 130 Wireman's Mill Road for a stormwater complaint. Gus already talked about that.
Right.
Regarding the update for the subdivision land development ordinance, I have not received anything from county planning yet. Andy was supposed to get me some templates and whatnot to look at. I haven't received those yet. And finally, I did not have any plans for review this month.
Okay. Any questions for the engineer? Okay, thank you. Fire company reports, Bendersville. Are they here? They're not here. Okay, there's some, did they contact you apparently, Pat, about some box changes? Well, they're not here, so there's nothing. Okay. Heidelberg, Brandon Huff.
We have the same thing for the night.
Okay.
We've got the updated box cards for you guys. Those should be there in front of you along with the line officer list.
Okay.
The box cards are following the county's guidelines for the standardized box cards of 4 engines on an initial response, 3 tankers, a truck. We did add 2 boxes with the new CAD going into effect. We include the Route 15 corridor,
Okay.
north 234 for Warren's Mill. Along with approval on those also. We share the box area of 25-1 and 25-2 with Tyrone. I was at their meeting last night, they have approved the way they were.
Anything else?
Anyone like to have that by the 1st of February back to the county?
Sure. Yeah, I'm good.
And if you could just sign that top.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we sign the box alarm, the review form as submitted by Heidelberg Fire Company. Is there a second?
A second.
Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. You want me to take care of that later? Okay. Narima report.
Narima meeting is in February, so there is nothing new to report.
Okay. Thank you. Old business, view and approve the Greenbrier Road. We've already talked about that through the engineer, and same thing with the Myerstown. Next item is review Marie DeGangi's grievance package. The grievance package was submitted by Marie DeGangi prior to me taking office as a supervisor. Okay, so I don't really have any comment on that this time. My understanding is, by the First Amendment, you can file grievance with your government if you choose to. You are not required by law to reply to those grievances if you don't choose to. Is that correct, Solicitor King?
Correct.
Being that I don't have any comment because predates my office.
Do you want to
So you
state your
read-
grievances?
Excuse me?
Will you state your grievances?
Well, okay. I read this in January 12, 2023. I'm here this evening to petition redress of grievances with the elected officials and to exercise the rights and protections under the First Amendment of the Constitution. As to my right to know request listed on that agenda in January, at the December 8, 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting, my name and that of another resident was on the agenda. I therefore requested that the township's recording be preserved, and I requested a copy indicating that the details could be worked out the next day, that being a right to know request if needed. Chairman Geis indicated no, that the recording was only for the use of the secretary. Being familiar with the right to know law, I knew that these recordings are considered public records. I was previously also aware of the advisory opinion on this subject that appears on the Open Records website. So I asked Chair Geis if he was refusing my request. He replied, yes, he was. The next morning, I hand-delivered a right-to-know request for the recording to Secretary Davis, the appointed Open Records officer. Let me see, I've got it referred to. December 15th. Pat Davis wrote to Holly Fischel and Katie Liza, please see the right to know request in our recording policy. This resident attended the meeting she wants the recording of. She was told at more than one meeting that the recording is just for the secretary. Maybe we didn't use the correct wording in the policy. Can I let her come in and listen to it? Should I do an extension? She dropped off. I won't read the rest of it because it has to do with the right to know.
If I can interrupt.
Yes.
I mean, I read through your grievance package.
Yes.
And basically, you asked 6 questions.
Yes,
So you would like a reply to those 6 questions? Is
Yes.
that what you're looking for?
yes.
Okay.
Well,
Would you state those 6 questions, please?
yeah, because you asked me to read it, so, okay.
Well, I have the questions here, so I'll just read them and reply. Okay. Why is the board and open records officer not aware that these recordings are public records and the minimum retention schedule? The board and open records officers were unaware of the regulations when the policy was implemented and have since learned of the mistake made.
Could you speak up a little? I have an issue with, hearing.
What's this in front of me, by the way?
That's for the publication we have.
Is this? I just want to know. I don't know. I just noticed it. Is it a recording device or a speaker?
It's a microphone.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have an issue, and I hear mumbling. I mean, sometimes your voice is. That's why he had to put it there because.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. The question.
So if you could just kind of.
The board and open records officers were unaware of the regulations when the policy was implemented and have since learned of the mistake made. So basically, what the board said, they made a mistake and now they've corrected that. Okay, that's question number one. Number two, why does the PSATS analyst not mention that the recording must be kept until the official minutes are approved? The board cannot answer for the PSATs. We can't give an answer for them, obviously.
Yes, my concern was that Pat goes to them for information, and if they're not giving the proper information, that's an issue for the township.
Okay.
That was my concern, thank you.
Number three, has the township ever adopted the resolution as noted in the aforementioned manual? The answer is no. Okay. Number four, was the recording and retention policy adopted August 11th, 2022 by the board on the advice of the solicitor? The answer is no. Okay, so there's your four questions on the meeting recording policy. The next questions were, at what public meeting, or was it a private meeting, did Supervisors Geis and King discuss, vote, or decide to remove Supervisor Lear? Which supervisor instructed Secretary Davis to seek advice on the removal of the elected Supervisor Lear? Ms. Davis inquired on her own, is the reply. Next question. Holly Fischel's title at PSATS is Policy and Research Director. Is she a licensed attorney? The reply is the board does not know if she's a licensed attorney. So these were the questions you asked.
Correct.
Okay, we have now replied to your questions. So to me, the matter is now closed. Okay. 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 And again, I was not here when you
Oh,
filed the
yes, I
agreement.
understand that, Dave,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
See, my concern about the Holly Fischel giving, she had indicated that they could fire an employee. And that was, to me, legal advice, employment legal advice. And that's why I checked the website for PSATS, and she is just a policy and research director. And that's why I was wondering, she seemed to be giving Pat what I considered like legal advice. So I was concerned about that we go to, the township goes to PSATS,
Okay.
and they're getting possibly misinformation about employment, etc. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Your comment is noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just so you know, we've had discussions since then, that kind of changing the questioning, where the questions go, not to PSATs, more to our office.
But I gotta say, PSATS is there to answer township questions. That's what, they're there, they're a middleman between the state and us. They're there for us to ask questions.
Going
But
forward.
not legal advice.
Going forward, the Board of Supervisors of Huntington will contact our solicitor regarding any legal questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also wanted to question, since you have found that the recording policy is not consistent with the Records Retention Act, are you going to be bringing that up and changing the recording of the meeting?
I will consult our solicitor regarding the necessity of that. I mean, we're aware of it. Obviously, we're retaining them as required now. So
Correct.
do we need to change the policy? We can discuss that.
I mean, I don't know to what extent the policy was adopted before, if it was actually something in writing, or if it's just something said at a meeting. We could make a written resolution
Right.
if needed.
It was on the August 11th minutes. Discuss and approve a meeting recording policy, and that was for the secretary, basically. Mr. Geis made a motion for our meeting recording policy to be that we will record all meetings for the secretary's use. As soon as the minutes are prepared, the recording will be erased. Mr. King seconded and it carried. And that's what is not consistent with the Records Retention Act. When I spoke to Ms. Bendroff at the Pennsylvania Historical Museum, because they're actually in charge of that, and the Retention Act is actually on their website. And that's where I researched and found that there is supposed to be a document signed and it can cause legal issues, which you should, the solicitor will look into, I'm sure. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, new business. DEP inform the public of a drought watch. I assume that might have been lifted now, but
I would hope so.
okay. Inform the public January is radon month and there's free test kits available. Guess we received notification through the state.
And we have bad news about that. 17019 zip code and 17372 zip code, they're out of the free kits. But over there is, on the table is information about, what DEP sent about rate on. But if you got a 17372 address, you're not getting it, or zip code, you're not getting it for free.
Okay, thank you. Approved PSATS memberships for 2024. We're obviously members of that organization, so I will make a motion. We
Second.
become a member again. It's been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approved codification update by general code.
All right, a lot of what she was talking about. We need to get our codification up to date. It hasn't been done for 2 years, and it's supposed to be done every year. There was always one more thing being done. Well, after 2 years, we need to get it done. And so we need to look at what she just said about that policy, and any of the, the new ordinances and resolutions will be forwarded to them for codification. So if there's, we need to look at what we did or didn't do, we need to do it.
Okay.
And maybe if we're getting them all listed on the website, or on the internet, through the code 360.
Oh, we're not a part of that.
I'm saying maybe you can. Makes it a lot easier to find ordinances.
Do we need a motion on that, I assume?
Well, you could look into that, but you have to
Yeah.
approve the codification.
Yeah, okay. Okay, approved the 2024 municipal tax rates.
Okay, you've got copies of them there. They haven't changed in many years. The real estate millage, we have none. Fire tax, we have none. Per capita is $10. Occupation tax, we have none. Discount percentage for your taxes, 2%. Penalty is 10%.
Okay.
And just,
Okay, so just, Huntington Township does not assess a real estate tax to their residents. I think a lot of people don't realize that. I mean, you do pay real estate tax, but that's to the county and to the school. But we, as a municipality, do not collect real estate tax.
the only thing that comes here is like 1.7% of that $10.
Yeah, our revenue is earned income. Okay.
Earned income.
We don't collect the fire tax either, so. Okay, I will make a motion that we leave the municipal tax rates as listed. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, subdivision, land development progression. We've already talked about that, obviously. And the Huebner, Gus, you mentioned that in your report.
Yeah.
So that would be done. Okay. Right to know request, December 15th of 23, Marie DeGangi, any and all invoices, professional services rendered and submitted by Salzman Hughes for the month of November 2023. Second one, December 20th of 2023, Marie DeGangi, any and all correspondence between Huntington Township officials and employees with PSATs from March 1st of 23 to March 31st of 23. Third, December 22nd, 23, Marie DeGangi, any and all invoices for professional services rendered and submitted by Scott Longstreet, PA of Share Design Group for the months of December 22nd, 22 through December of 2023. 4, January 3rd, 2024, Marie DeGangi, grant application and transmittal correspondence submitted by the township for the amount of $100,000 offered by Adams County and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that recently was discussed by the Board of Supervisors and the Roadmaster. Number 5, January 10th, 2023, Marie DeGangi, opportunity to inspect the final audit reports submitted by the Board of Auditors for the year of 2021 and 2022. Okay. Okay, upcoming meetings. The Planning Commission meets January 22nd at 7 p.m. in this building. NAREMA meeting is Wednesday, February 7th, 24, 6 p.m. at Manalapan Township. Our next meeting is February the 8th at 7 p.m. This time, any public comment?
Can I just make a request?
Yes.
Someone spoke back here, I don't know the gentleman's name from, with Gus about subdivision, I believe. If a person is appointed on a committee, if they could just state their name so that I would know who they are, because I'm not familiar with people on the planning commission or their names and stuff, so.
Okay. So we're talking, Tom Strife volunteered to help find a building code,
I'm on the thing.
and he's on the planning commission. Okay, correct?
I'd like to make another point on Marie's number 4. To be clear, the county and the, Adams County and the Commonwealth did not offer $100,000. They offered a share of that we estimated to be about $100,000, depending on what other projects were going to be part of that consideration. So we never said it was $100,000. That was an estimate that we made based on our knowledge of what was available at the time, and that could change considerably.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, public
Well,
comment?
what was that $100,000 for, I'm sorry?
It's for since the township now, the roadmaster's been trained on low-volume roads, correct? We're eligible to apply for a grant to help subsidize the culvert project.
The work on.
And the state gives money for the grants, you apply, and,
County only, there's only 100,000 available for Adams County.
okay,
The program
The
is,
whole county.
Yes,
the program is administered by the Adams County Conservation District.
okay.
and that's all.
And Deb said that typically in a year, the total amount distributed for all projects in the county is approximately $100,000.
So the township's not gonna get 100,000.
It depends on how many projects.
Right now, we're
are
the only
submitted.
project, so we do have a chance of getting
Yeah.
the whole thing. But that's why I said it was an estimate, it's the
Right.
best information we had at the
Right.
time.
Okay.
So how much are these 2 culverts?
Close to $500,000,
I don't think do we have the final numbers yet for the,
I gave you estimated budget numbers last month,
When it-
about 200,000
apiece.
200,000 apiece, okay. Yeah.
So the 100,000 or whatever we get, that would help that.
Well, yeah, obviously it'd be offset that, yes. Okay.
And they'd be done in 2 different years, so you'd have a possibility in the following year of getting some of the next
Correct,
piece of the pie.
The
correct,
second goal.
right.
I understand.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Marie?
Yes, Pat kept mentioning it at the December meeting, and I'm not sure if it was stated on the budget. I'll have to do a right to know request and come in and look at it, but she kept stating it was 100,000. So that was why I requested, and I'm not even sure, I probably did mention 100,000 because it was mentioned at the December meeting by Pat, and something to do with the budget and talking about the culverts.
Okay.
So, yeah, thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. At this time, we need to have still need to have an executive session to discuss litigation docket number 2023-SU-0285, Christopher and Heather Miller and Sam Will Akers versus Huntington Township Zoning Hearing Board, and litigation docket number 2023-SU-0286, Christopher and Heather Miller and Sam Will Akers versus Adams County UCC Board of Appeals. So we will now go to executive session. Okay, we're out of executive session. Having no other business, I will make a motion for adjournment.
Second?
Been moved and second to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for coming.